Hey, I'm Jordan with Jordan Plays Blue. I turned my camera a little bit. I figured why not. Also, my glasses broke, so I'm wearing my backup glasses. Hopefully I'll be able to get those Jeffrey Dahmer frames again when I go back to the eye doctor in a couple weeks. But in the meantime, you're stuck with this face that I'm rocking with for the next couple weeks. Trying to think what happened. So we're talking about June 2024 for this one. And I decided I've played a bunch of expansions kind of games recently, and I figured I'm just going to talk about them because there's not always a good time to talk about expansions because they're not like full games, they're not like real games, they're just kind of like adding on to stuff. And I don't play a ton of expansions, so I don't do this a ton, and I figured why not? Let's just toss them all together in one fell swoop and see what happens. So, let's talk about 4 expansions. First one, this is World Wonders Mundo. This is from Arcane Wonders. This is an expansion for, of course, World Wonders, which is one of my favorite games that came out last year. And this one pretty much just adds new wonders. When I played for the first time this game, we ran out of wonders. We used every single one. I think it was a 4 or 5 player game that we played. Every single wonder was used. We were just trying to build as many wonders as we could because we thought that was the best way to win. It's probably not the best way to win, but it's fun. And this one just adds wonders. It only adds like 9. So it's not a huge expansion, but it's enough to really add some new variety into the game. But it doesn't just add new wonders, but it also adds this new way to score wonders. And so there's these Mundo cards that these new 9 wonders have. And so typically in the game, the wonders are going to give you maybe 1, 2 points and maybe a resource, depending on what they are. What these Mundo cards do is these wonders can be used as basic wonders if you want to, but you can roll in the Mundo cards. And they allow you to score variable points depending on how well you achieve an objective. So for instance, one of them, you want to build a bunch of cities next to water, or you want a contiguous road that is as long as a certain length or something. And if you reach this length, it's this number of points, this length is this number of points. And so they're all like 1, 2, or 3 points. And it really opens up like so much more strategy, and it makes building the wonders more interesting, where before it's a cool thing to put on your map and it gives you maybe 1 or 2 points, but it's not giving you as many points as other things that you're doing. This one boosts up the point value, but also makes scoring them more interesting because you're trying to achieve more stuff. The only knock I'd say on this expansion is that there aren't Mundo cards for the original wonders. I think that feels like a super easy, just like booster pack of cards that they should release next. But I'm not the company, so. But I think they should. All right, this next one is Space Base Genesis. Now, Space Base is one of my favorite games of all time. I have, I think, almost everything for Space Base. I'm not sure if I have all of the promos and stuff, but I'm pretty sure I have all of them. And I believe this is the first, I'm not sure if Command Station counts as an expansion. It's a big box, but it does have some cards in it. This is the first true expansion that is not a campaign. There's no storyline in this one, which I think makes it probably one of the better expansions. Because I think those stories and I think the campaign aspect of the other expansions just wasn't worth it doing. I think Genesis does this right. It just gives you a whole bunch of new cards that you fold in. It gives you some new cards that have like some cool arrows on them. It gives you some cards that are going to let you roll some like personal dice on your turn that only you can use. Just a whole bunch of cool stuff. But what it also does is it adds a whole bunch of new colony cards. Colony cards are those cards that you, in the base game, you buy and then they just kind of lock up one of your spots and you just get straight points for them and you can't ever get anything for rolling that number on your turn. These new colony cards allow you to get something immediately, but they're going to not just be straight points. Sometimes they might move up your income, or they might let you do something else, or roll a bunch of personal dice and then they just clog something up. But they let you do different things whenever you get that colony card. And then there's also these other cards that have the yellow background, and you do those immediately, even though they're not necessarily taking like, you don't get to do something with them ongoing, but you get to do something for them right away. So I think this is excellent. definitely a very cool, and I wouldn't say essential, but like if you love Space Base, you're going to love this one. 10 out of 10, love this one. All right, quick ad break. I usually like to talk about when I get games for free or whatever. So World Wonders I did get from the publisher. Space Base I bought for myself. Back to your regular programming. Next we have Forest Shuffle. Alpine. I did not get this. I paid for this one. I did not get this as a review copy, but this one just adds more cards. It doesn't really add new mechanics, but it's adding like new trees. It's adding new butterflies, new animals. It doesn't really nerf or change any strategies that are there, but it does allow for some kind of pivoting as you're playing. It adds purple banners and pink banners, I believe, in this one, which feel difficult to really score groups of them because there aren't quite as many of those as there are the other kinds. But ultimately, I think this is really solid. I really like Forest Shuffle, and I think adding new cards, you know, just like Space Base, it's one of those games that's like big old stack of cards. Adding more cards to that, I'm always game for. And lastly, this is an expansion. It's a standalone expansion, if you will. This is Swords of the Coin. This is a Set a Watch game. And this one, I did get this one from the publisher. This one is an expansion, I guess, to Set a Watch, but this is just kind of used as a base game. You can kind of combine all the Set a Watch stuff with like a big old stack of monsters. You can change all the roles or factions or characters, that kind of thing. And I think this one really improves on the base game. Set a Watch is a cooperative game in which you're kind of chucking some dice and using those dice in different ways in order to, you know, use your special powers, and then also ultimately using them to fight this row of baddies that are coming at you in the woods. Set a Watch, Swords of the Coin, is adding this marketplace that I think adds some strategic depth to the game because it allows your dice to be used differently. It's not just roll high numbers, defeat bad guys kind of thing, which I think ultimately in the base game that's kind of how it goes. But in this one with the marketplace, it allows you to buy these new items and marketplace things that allow you to do cool stuff during those battle rounds. And it allows you to maybe use different numbers, and it allows you to upgrade numbers and change things. And it just adds for some more dice mitigation and some more interesting decisions. So if you're going to get a Set a Watch game, I would probably skip the base game and go straight for Swords of the Coin, because I think this one is definitely an improvement on that system. There you go. So those are 4 expansions. Last one, I guess, was a standalone expansion, but ultimately I think these are all really solid, and if you like these games, I would check them out. There you go. I'm Jordan. Thanks.